From the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex, it's time again for Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Arsenal. And as always, before you do anything else, please get down there in the corner and smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you very much. And thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Let's bring Miggy in here. Get in here, Miggy. Can't do a show without him. Mainly Lions tonight. The Michigan basketball team and the Michigan State basketball teams. Michigan State's out in Hawaii. I believe it's the Maui Classic out there. Michigan, I don't know where their holiday tournament is, but they're also out of town. We'll get, as I said before, we'll get into more of that once the Big Ten season gets underway. But for right now, football is the main topic in this area, obviously. So we'll focus mainly on the Lions. Michigan got a quarterback. We'll talk a little bit about that. Let's see what else we got going here. Red Wings, who are 8-10-2, are in New York to take on the Islanders tonight. They lost to the Bruins Saturday 2-1. They're not scoring. You know how I feel about that team and their coach, Steve Yzerman, and the whole thing. Pistons are hosting the Toronto Raptors tonight. The Pistons going to this one at 7-11. Kate Cunningham is hurt again, so what else is new? Toronto comes in, they are 4-13. Even without Cunningham, they should be able to beat the Raptors tonight at Little Caesars. So let's get the commercial out of the way first before we do some serious football talk here. Colder weather will be here in a matter of 48 hours or so. The weather is going to make a dramatic turn. And with daytime highs in the 20s and nighttime lows in the teens, it's going to feel like February. It's nuts. It's crazy, but that's nothing we can do about it. That's just the way it is. The colder, so I should say the colder, what should change my script a little bit here and say the colder weather is here. It is upon us. It's on our doorstep and is about to come in. Oh, where am I getting here? Then now is the perfect time to get to Beck Chevrolet and make an appointment to make sure your vehicle is ready for the winter weather ahead. Now, you get in there and you let them check the strength of your battery, your belts and hoses, wiper blades, antifreeze, and more. Plus, now it's the perfect time to get that new set of tires so you don't go slipping and sliding down the highway. And if you don't think your car will make it through another rough Michigan winter, let the sales pros at Beck's help you find a vehicle for all seasons. The 2025s are rolling in nearly every day out of the lot, so right now their selection is tops. Check out their inventory on their webpage at frankbeckchevy.com, or better still, stop by the dealership on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville and let them help you experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Hang on just a second here. I thought the Lions won relatively easy yesterday, a relatively easy win, 24-6 at Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson might have a strong arm, but he's not real accurate. And the couple of passes that he did connect on were dropped, one for a touchdown. Anyway, the Lions won their 9th straight. They're 10-1. You've heard about the 1934 team that started the season winning their first 10. Oddly enough, they lost. They did not win another game after that and lost their last 3. I went back and looked at that today. They finished that year 10-3 in second place behind the Chicago Bears, who were 13-0. And the Bears would go on to lose in the first NFL championship game, not the first, but the first first year the Lions were in the league. The Bears lost the championship game that year to New York. I think they were called the Yankees back then. Anyway, that's so much for the 19. Now, the following year, the Lions in 1935 did win the NFL championship. I don't know why. They only played 13 games in 1934, and there were only like 8 teams in the entire league. You got to remember, too, the NFL was still in its infancy back then, and they didn't really come to be until about 1920. As I said, the Lions in 34 moved up from Ohio to join the league, started playing their games at UAD Stadium. That's back when UAD had a football team, but we're going way back. Game balls for yesterday. If you're looking at giving out game balls, I don't know how Aaron Glenn does it with the injuries mounting up on the defensive side of the ball. Let's hope Carlton Davis is okay. Apparently has a knee issue. I don't know what he did with it. He was seen on the stationary bicycle yesterday after the game. He's talking about it like it's no big deal. David Montgomery left the game with some sort of a shoulder issue. Came back on the field with his helmet on. He was ready to go back in, but Dan Campbell told him, let's hold off until Thursday. Taylor Decker left the game. He came back. And really, Dan Skipper taking his place at left tackle was awful. Awful. Let's hope Decker can stay healthy because Dan Skipper, I'm sorry, again, for the second time in the last 3 weeks now, we saw a lot of pressure put on Jared Goff. Well, let's hope this is supposed to be the best offensive line in the game, along with Philly. And if you saw Philly last night, you got to be concerned about them. They look now like they may not lose a Leonard game. They will be in Baltimore this coming weekend to take on the Ravens. The rest of their schedule looks relatively easy. If they beat the Ravens Sunday, I think the Eagles could very well go 15-2 and challenge the Lions for that top seed in the NFC. So we'll see. We'll see about that one. I think that's a 4:25 game. I think it's a 4:25 game Sunday. Since the Lions won't be playing, we'll be focused on that one. Also, too, in our area, since the Lions are playing on Thursday, they're 10.5-point favorites, by the way, over the Bears. Talk about that a little bit, too. But I think the featured game we're going to get here at 1 o'clock on Fox will be the Cardinals and the Vikings from Minnesota. It's a 1 o'clock game. Cardinals were disappointing loss yesterday in Seattle. I picked them to win that game. And Kyler Murray and company can only muster 2 field goals against the Seahawks. I can't figure that team out either. Geno Smith, to me, still looks more like the quarterback he did when he played with the Jets. No, can't figure that one out either. Stats. Looking at the stats from the game yesterday. Rushing. Lions 137 yards, Colts 96. Passing, Lions 253, Colts 172. Total yards, Lions 390, Colts 268. Time of possession, Lions 37 minutes and 1 second, Colts 22 minutes and 59 seconds. After the game, too, Herb Edwards mentioned something on ESPN yesterday. Lions have an opportunity, albeit I don't know if a bit of a long shot or not, to be the first team ever to have 2 1,000-yard rushers and 2 receivers with 1,000 yards of receptions. It's never happened before. They got a shot. As far as rushing right now, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is at 886. Jahmyr Gibbs is at 886 right now. He had 90 yards yesterday. And David Montgomery is like, what, 626? They both got a shot at it. They both have legitimate shot at it. Funny thing, too, about the game yesterday, the Colts, their first three drives, had 136 total yards. For the rest of the game, they had 132 total yards. I mean, they did nothing in the second half. This was the third game in a row. The Lions defense pitched a shutout in the second half. No points. In fact, they've gone the last 10 quarters now without having given up a touchdown. I don't know how Aaron Glenn is doing it with all these injuries. As far as the injury update goes, hang on just a second here. Decker looks like he'll be good to go Thursday. The same for David Montgomery. It looks like Carlton Davis is going to be able to go. Campbell said this morning we could very well get Terrion Arnold back for Thursday. And also Emmanuel Mosley could very well be in the mix for Thursday too. So let's hope he is, and let's hope he can stay healthy. That poor guy has had nothing but bad luck when it comes to injuries. Two torn ACLs and a torn pec. And boy, you got to be rooting for this guy. So watch for number 4 on Thursday. By the way, the Lions will be wearing the throwback jerseys and helmets for the Lions on Thursday. Keep in mind one thing, too, and I can't give you, obviously, no one has a viable explanation for it. The last time the Lions won on Thanksgiving Day was 2016 when they beat the Vikings 16-13. Since then, they have lost 7 straight games on Thanksgiving Day, no matter who they were playing. Now, they come into the game Thursday as 10.5-point favorites. The Bears lost another game yesterday in overtime to the Vikings, 30-27. And the Bears had another attempted field goal blocked. I don't know who the special teams coach is, but look, they fired the offensive coordinator a couple of weeks ago. They should have done the same thing with a special teams coach. There's no excuse for all these blocked field goal attempts. You can't blame the kicker. Anyway, the Bears come in here having lost their last 5. They're 4-7. I think they could easily be 7-4 and right in the playoff mix, but they're not. And I mentioned earlier, too, that it's never happened before where you've got 2,000-yard rushers and 2 receivers with 1,000 yards in the same season. As I mentioned before, Gibbs with the 886 right now as we speak with 6 games left. Montgomery, 626. They both got a legitimate shot at a 1,000-yard season with 6 games left. As far as the receivers go, Amon-Ra right now has 747 yards of receptions. J-Mo has 602. It's a bit more of a long shot. Doesn't mean they couldn't do it. But the main thing is they've got to stay healthy and stay focused. They're undefeated on the road, are the Lions. 6 straight road wins. So they've only got 2 road games left at Chicago on December 22nd and at San Francisco on Monday night, December 30th, I believe. Okay. I believe that is. 2, I mentioned before, the December 15th game here at Ford Field against the Buffalo Bills. Right now, scheduled for a 4:25 game. That very well, what I'm hearing is that game could very well be flexed to Monday night, December the 16th, an 8:20 game with Buck and Aikman. That means the Lions would be playing 2 Monday night games within 3 weeks. That's got to really mess your schedule up too a lot, doesn't it? Yeah. Anything I wanted to go over too in regard to the game yesterday, as far as game balls. We'll hand out game balls And make sure I didn't miss anything I wanted to pass along to you. Yeah, of course, this would be if Gibbs and Montgomery would both exceed 1,000 yards this year. Be the first time the Lions have ever done it. It's happened 600 or 700 times. I'll go over that with you guys in a minute here. And Lee McNeil, I thought, played an outstanding game yesterday. He was really, really good. So the last, another first. Second time in a row now the Lions have won, second year in a row that they've won 10 games. They've never done that either in the entire history of their franchise. Never done that. We're setting so many records here with this offense. Well, Goff didn't have that bad of a day yesterday. He didn't throw any touchdowns, and that's why his quarterback rating did not get over 100, but I didn't think it was that bad. A lot of several of those incompletions he had to throw away because he was getting rushed. Are you a little concerned at all about the offensive line? I am. I've got my concerns. This is supposed to be the best line. Well, I don't know. Eagles look awfully good. Of course, we didn't get any help at all yesterday from the Rams or the Bears or the 49ers. What on earth has happened to them? No Brock Purdy, no Nick Bosa. They didn't even show up at Green Bay yesterday. That was an awful game. Hard to watch if you're a 49er fan. Really. I'll give up the game balls here, and we'll wrap this up after I put in a good word, as usual, for Tim Lindley at Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale, who without his assistance and his help and his knowledge, we wouldn't be able to do this, what I'm doing right now. He is the most tech-savvy guy in our area. Get in there and see Tim if you have any issues at all. Computers, new or used, sales and service. Maybe the computer you have now needs a little work done on it, servicing. Flat screen TVs, mounting, programming, setup. Maybe you're changing internet providers, printers, new or used, anything at all. Get in there and see Tim at 37 Walton Street in downtown Hillsdale. That's a couple 100 feet west of Howell Street. 517-610-5372. Tim Lindley, Quality BC, downtown Hillsdale, 37 Walton Street. Get in there and see Tim. Tell him Miggy and I sent you. Would you please? Thank you. Before I give up the game balls here from yesterday, these are my game balls. Dan Campbell gave out 3 game balls after the game yesterday. It was, who got them? Jack Fox, the punter, got one. And Malcolm Rodriguez got one. And one of the coaches got one. It was running backs coach, Montgomery, the running backs coach, got a game ball. He gave out 3 game balls yesterday. I will tell you who, let you know who won my game balls. In my humble opinion, after I give you this list of, I mentioned running back tandems or duos who have both exceeded 1,000 yards in one season. First team to ever do that were the 1972 Miami Dolphins, who were 17-0 that year. Did not lose a game. As you know, that hasn't happened since. It's not going to happen this year. Larry Zonka and Mercury Morris, the running backs, both exceeded 1,000 yards rushing that year. And they were the only team, Dolphins were the only team to win the Super Bowl after having 2 1,000-yard rushers in the same season. That's never happened. 1972 Dolphins. We look at the 1976 Pittsburgh Steelers, Franco Harris and Rocky Bleier, Vietnam War veteran. The 1985 Cleveland Browns, Kevin Mack and Ernest Miner. The 2006 Atlanta Falcons, Warwick Dunn and Michael Vick. Of course, Vick was a quarterback back then. The 2008 New York Giants, Brandon Jacobs and Derek Ward. I had forgotten about that one. And the 2009 Carolina Panthers, Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams, both exceeded 1,000 yards that year. It hasn't obviously, it hasn't happened very often, but the Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery have a good shot at reaching that plateau this year. My game balls for yesterday, Lee McNeil was just sensational. That guy is getting better and better, and he's just a very special player. He gets a game ball from me. Jake Bates with another 56-yard field goal. I gave him a game ball. Jahmyr Gibbs, 90 yards rushing yesterday with 2 touchdowns. Was he talking a little trash on that second touchdown yesterday? Looked like he was. Kevin Zeitler, the Lions right guard. You don't hear his name much, but he's an unsung hero on that offensive line. I thought he played very well yesterday. A little bit nitpicking too. When David Montgomery scored his touchdown yesterday, he and Jameson Williams were mimicking a couple of men throwing dice in the end zone. And apparently Roger Goodell was at the game. Word is he could be fined for mimicking dice throwing in the end zone. League doesn't want to be associated at all with gambling. Bad. Well, what a farce that is. Apparently Montgomery made the comment today he'll be glad to pay the fine. Brian Branch was hit with another personal foul penalty, or apparently what was ruled a helmet-to-helmet hit on the sidelines. I don't think it was. I think it was more like shoulder pads to helmet. One thing for sure, they got their eye on Brian Branch. I don't think that should have been a penalty. Will he get a fine out of that? Who knows? I don't know. No. As we're thinking about the couple of things too, I wanted to mention, we've got the Harbaugh Bowl tonight. The Harbaugh brothers, 8 o'clock tonight on ABC. Jim going up against older brother John as the Ravens take on the Chargers. It looks like a pretty good matchup. Should be a good game tonight. And that tonight will wrap up week 12 at the National Football League. Week 13 will begin on Thursday with 3 games. Bears and the Lions, of course, kicking off at 12:30. You've got a real stinker at 4:20 on the Bear-Lion game is on ABC Channel 6. Fox has the middle game at 4:20, and it sounds like a real stinker right now. The Giants at Dallas. And NBC at 8:20 Thanksgiving night. That's what right now it looks like it could be a pretty good matchup. The Dolphins and the Packers at Lambeau. So there's also a Black Friday game. I'm not even going to get into that. The Chiefs are, I don't even know. It's on, well, you got to stream it. You got to stream that game. Is it a Prime Video? I think it is. Either that or Peacock. One of those streaming sources. Black Friday game. Who's going to watch that game? I'm not. That's going to about do it for us. I'm almost done here. This is Monday. I'll talk to you again on Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, and then again Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. If this works out for me, I'll stick with this schedule Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and make it permanent. I'll let you know on Friday how this works out. Okay. Sorry I was on a little later. Very hectic day for me. I had a lot of shopping to do. Glad the day is over. It's a busy week for everybody. That's going to do it. Like I said, don't forget Saturday with Andy on the Time Out Show here locally in WCSR 92.1 FM. I'll talk to you all again on Wednesday. Have a good rest of your evening. Remember, please treat each other with respect. Thanks for watching, and so long, everybody.